Hi. Oh, hindi. Yeah, okay. Alright. So I was invited here to talk about what I knew. Unfortunately, I knew more about user experience, which is more broader than information architecture. So forgive me if I'm a little broader. And my particular experience that I'd like to share to you is how we somewhat created a culture in OLX. It is difficult, if you didn't know, it's difficult to introduce a change in the culture in a tech organization, particularly if they're used to doing things in a certain way. So introducing a design-centered culture is pretty hard. And some of those who tried will tell you how hard it is. And I would like to share to you how we have evolved throughout since we started. Okay? If there's something about it to you, stick around. If not, go have a merienda or something. I don't know. All right. So yeah. So I am Eli. I'm the founder of UX Philippines, Usability Philippines. I will share this slide to you. There's a link there to what's the story of Usability Philippines and UX Philippines. We started off as Usability Philippines, evolved into UX PH. Basically, that's it. I'm also the user experience manager of OLX, although now I just recently changed their group to the experience research group. So so I'm now experience research manager. Angela also mentioned that I'm also doing Internet of Things. So we dabble in electronics, who are familiar with arduinos and Raspberry Pis. So we play around with that. So I love the talk of TJ earlier because that's the kind of thing I play around with. Especially in work, kasi katapat ko lang yung the BI guys just right in front of me. So we always talk about, and he's a Magic the Gathering addict. So aside from talking about games, we also talk about work. And we also apply a lot of the Internet of Things stuff that we're doing now into analytics. So that's why I like that talk. So it's not. I might have needed to extend that. Yeah. This is a comment that came from the UX Philippines Facebook group. So Monica, one of our members there, so you can join in UX Philippines. Just look for it in Facebook. Said this: I want my company to have a UX culture so bad. So that's the gist of what she was trying to say. So a lot of people commented this. Start with a quick, cheap demonstrations of how UX can improve things. First thing you should do is to arm yourself with the knowledge and skills to preach UX within the company. So, I think discussions. This is and these are the guys. That's Monica. So that's the kind of discussions that we have. I'd like to share to you how it evolved in OLX. Are you familiar with OLX? It used to be called sulit.com.ph. Sulit.com.ph. It's owned by a Filipino, si RJ. So Naspers is the mother company of OLX, of Sulit. It invested in Sulit, and it was already invested before the name change. There's a misperception that it only was bought when the name was changed. It was bought way beyond that. And the people who are still there are still the original owners. Nothing was changed. Only the brand. Okay? Just to give you an insight on that. So first, I'd like to share this to you in case you didn't know yet. Not just talking about interface design, visual design, because you often see UX and UI bundled together in job descriptions. It's not just, when I'm talking about UX, it also involves a lot of other things, including information architecture, field research. So we do all those things. Alright? So just to get that clear, in case you didn't know yet. So in 2014, OLX created the UX department. This was the first three of us. We were having wine. So that's experience, di ba? Experience it. Why? Naku, hindi nakikita. Anyway, yeah. So I should have designed for a wider screen so you can see. Why did we create a UX team, or I pushed for the creation of a UX team, because at the time, user experience was an afterthought. So information architecture was an afterthought. What does that mean? It was designed first, and then, how is the user using it? So it's not part of how it should have, it's even at the opening of the start of the design. So, it's really broken. Anyway, so you guys are familiar with this? Who is familiar with this? Okay, you're not familiar with this. All right. So when we talk about user experience design kasi, we think about this. This is serial. These are the parts of your product, the features. And this is your user interface, the way to get the features to crunch. But you are actually looking for this, the entire experience of eating the bowl, not just the small features, not just the interface. So traditionally, the focus has been on the features or on the interface, not on the actual experience. Make sense? It's a famous image you see in the internet. So, no focus on the overall experience of eating the cereal. In fact, it was a common comment by our engineers. It's easier to talk to code than to talk to people. Is that really, the engineers out there? It's easier to work with code than to work with people. But this is the common sentiment. But I tried to push the people's skills are also important. People are also important. Hey, Easter. So what we introduced was this concept of innovating by having business. Are you familiar with this design? Those are the guys who are into user experience are familiar with this. You can see this in the website of IDEO. IDEO, if you don't know, is a famous design research firm that designed the first Apple mouse. Okay, so they've been there, done that. They're the guys who founded design thinking, okay? Or coined the word. So this circle show you that you have to make an intersection of the human side with the business that capability, you can do it, and viability. There's actually a business case for it. So, and that intersection is the innovation. Okay? Actually, I've seen several variations of this. I've seen a variation that are 4 circles. It's cool when you see Venn diagrams. No? I mean, these circles. Sometimes when you need to present how smart you are, you know, it's just like this. You circle. This is where we need to go, guys. So, that's how I presented it to the guys. Guys, you need desirability, visibility, and viability. We've been only focusing on this. We've not been focusing on this. You need to focus that so we can go innovating. And then, syempre, wow. Yeah. No, they didn't say that. So, what we needed, I realized, was a representative for the users. So I'd like to call ourselves basically the advocate for the users. Because we have the business side, the money coming in, we need the money. And then the technical side, we can't do that, we can do this. But no one is really focusing. When you get bigger, no one has the problem with scale that you noticed. When you get bigger, the user tends to be forgotten. No one's advocating for the people who are actually going to use it. Does that make sense to you guys? And luckily for us, we had a high-level backer. This is RJ. He's the founder of. He's a famous guy. He's the founder of Sulit.com.ph. Now OLX. Do you want to find out about a real startup, a real Filipino startup who really started from a garage? In his case, it's not a garage, it's just the second floor of their house. This is the guy you talk to. He's the real Pinoy entrepreneur. I know him, and probably si Nick Snolieto is the other guy who's really the really Pinoy entrepreneurs. Because everybody else has foreign blood na kami, right? So, real Pinoy tech entrepreneurs who made it, he's the guy. So, luckily for me, To give you an idea about Naspers, our mother company, we are like 34 different in 34 different countries. So OLX in like 28 different countries. In the other countries, it's a different brand name. In Dubai, it's called the Bizzle. So in Thailand, there's OLX. Oh, Thailand. Indonesia, it's OLX. So you will see us in. That's why we also went global. So it's a global brand. Okay. And the cool thing about when you are in a global company, he goes into a lot of workshops. You know, workshops like this, in management level. And the two things that 2 years ago, two things that was talked to them was, there are two positions important now coming in any tech organization. One is your business intelligence guy, like Troy there. That's why he is with that company that shall not be named. I did not say it. And then the user experience people. So that's the thing. That's something he had learned from a manager summit for all the Naspers mother companies, so 30 different managers, and he took action. So he hired immediately after that workshop. He hired a business intelligence guy for us, the guy that I play magic with, and me, the user experience guy. Okay. So what we did now was we started to make it successful. You need a team. So in a talk with Kim Guptuan in UX Hong Kong, one of the things he says, if you want to introduce a UX culture in your organization, you have to have a high-level backer and at least a team locally that shows the wins, shows small wins, and pitches it to everybody. So that's the kind of cycle that we had done in OLX. Luckily, we had what we call the MVP Mondays. So if we had an idea, we would test it the week before, and then present it the next Monday to everybody who wants to learn what was being tested. Okay. And this is where we got a lot of insights. The cool thing about doing that is the people, the engineers realized, hey, we could do that. Hey, why aren't we doing something about that? So you're slowly showing them what can be done. Here's an example of what we do. We recorded a persona, worked with OLX, and we recorded how he did it. So in this case, if you don't see his frown, his face is frowned. And then because apparently, what was the problem? We found out that he was trying to log in, but he encountered an error. So his face went like this because he went to a register for free, but he's already registered. So that didn't make sense to him. So these are the kinds of insights that we show to our engineering team. Here's another insight that we got. We discovered that he would actually take his picture of his car, for instance, and then have it sync to his Facebook, and then we'll finish it on this desktop. So look at that experience. You start off with a mobile device, and it ends up in a desktop. We asked why? Because it's easier to type the description on the desktop than on the mobile phone. So those are the kinds of insights that we discovered. And then we introduced the design thinking approach in the office. This is our team talking about it. This is our designer just did. We involved a lot of different teams. So we had the marketing there. We had our BI here. A couple of other teams there. Even customer service teams are included. And we held our ideation exercises. Basically, it's like brainstorming, but without a big person dominating the discussion. Okay? And then we had field research field tested with our research team. So we became the research representative. Now, the way we have evolved in OLX is we did not take on the design aspect because there was already a UI team. So I came in early on looking at what was needed. So I saw that they already have great visual designers. I did not want to step on their toes. Siyempre, may ego siya, especially designers. We did not want to tell them, you're out, I'm designing for you. No, these are my wireframes, use it. We did not want to do that. So what we have focused on instead is on the research and research aspect. So, and because the designers, not all designers will go out in the field. No? One is you don't have time. You prefer to actually work with your design or with the computer. Not everyone will actually take the time to go out and test the design and have someone, hey, can you test my design? They don't have, they would prefer to work on, on their computers. But so what we did now, we started collaborating actively with our UI guys. Tell us the design, we have this, we have it tested in the field, get back to you. And it took a while to get to a really good flow, but eventually we got it flowing a bit faster now. So these are the sample ideas of what was a concept that we had. So we were just discussing it. Let's sketch this. Yeah. The goal is to net new listers. We wanted more people listing. So the question was, if adding images in large banners would improve that? Would they? So the hypothesis would they click on sell your item now? Okay. If it was an image instead of just a text. No. So this version, that version, the crib won over everything won. Everything with an image actually won. But the version with the crib, I don't know. And until now, you see that crib, it's there. If we removed it, the numbers went down. So it's something that we're still exploring. But that's interesting. So we had different kinds of. If you're familiar with our campaign before, Yes Shaman, it converged whatever you took a picture of it to cash. So that was some of the pictures that we tried. Okay. And then we basically repeated this exercise to everybody else, all the other departments, all the other, we have the CS team, the admin team. This is in Indonesia. So last year we did our workshop in Indonesia. We did design thinking exercises with them. We basically taught them what we knew about user experience design. Because this is something they were lacking in. They needed someone who was doing UX for them. So the big trick that I learned is to let everyone own the wins. So if you're a designer, or you have somewhat of an ego, sorry, I did. I had somewhat of an ego na, use this design, this is good. And then if it goes out, that was my design. But if you allow them to contribute to the design, and then later on see that it's not my win, it's your win, it's our win. Kasi what I realized was, a lot of the engineers in particular were more interested in. So they began asking, how do you know that you need only to do 5 users? Why not 10? How do you know it's statistically significant to do this game? So they began asking. And that was a good sign because they were asking. Sometimes I kind of worry because, what's the answer? Okay, research. Okay, but when they started asking, they began thinking about their own tests. And then they began asking us, can we run this test? Then we began teaching them, well, here's Optimizely. If you're familiar with Optimizely, it's an A/B testing tool. So I gave them, Optimizely, Optimizely fans there. I gave them, okay, here's Optimizely, here's Access, you run the test. We'll teach you how to do it. So now, they can run tests on their own. So that's solely empowering them. And the trick is letting them own that. Once they own that, you relinquish a bit of control, but it's better overall, I think, because we tend to move faster now. They don't need to wait for me to approve the test or something. And then here's the other thing. We have now incorporated user experience within the product engineering team. So there are 2 people within the product team, but the bigger user experience or experience design team is outside. So it's working closely with marketing. So we're doing marketing research, and then we're also working closely with customer support, customer service. So we get data from customer service, present it to everyone, make a product vision, have it pitch it to the product engineering team. They do the UI testing, UX testing. So everyone's involved, which is really cool. And I didn't think it would reach that way. There were some egos along the way, but it took a while. No? Lalo na pag, if you talk to engineers, they know their thing. And they tell you, hey, that only adds 10 seconds to the weight of the website. So why would I do that? So, okay, so mga ganun. But the cool thing about this is when we started doing it to the admin level, admin people were doing the testing na, they're iterating. So what we discovered was, in OLX kasi we have free lunch every Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursdays, we had free lunch every. But we discovered that because we have a night shift, those who are night shift, they weren't able to eat lunch. And some of the people did not like the food. There was food wastage, around 5 to 10%. The solution was let's just have them, give them a coupon. So this is what they tested. They tested out with the coupons that they just laminated and cut. Give it to everyone and negotiate with our cafeteria. Just give it to the cafeteria so you can have free lunch. Basically, that's how it works. And the cool thing about that is now it has actually iterated. They even iterated on their own to a different design na. So we don't have that. Our cafeteria is called Kinuron. So we have Kinuron. Now we also have Pan de Manila stubs and Family Mart stubs. So iteration. So really cool. Pati this was a surprise to me. Even the nice printed food stubs, huh? color design. Iba yung colors. So yeah. So I think I would just like to share to you this story, and then so try to go for small wins. Would really help if you have a high-level backer, high-level stakeholder supporting you. So then you make sure the high-level backer can see the wins, make him present it to everybody else if possible, and eventually let everyone into the winnings. So let them also play around, let them win. Right? Does that make sense? Did that make sense to you, or is it something you can hopefully use in your organization? Okay? So thank you. That's it.